Gary, welcome to the UK Flooring Podcast. For our listeners, who are you? What do you do? And what's important? So, big questions there.
Big questions right in at the deep end. That's awesome. So Gary Hosey, I'm the founder and owner of EI Company. We're a small consultancy that is focused on developing leaders, leadership teams, predominantly around emotional intelligence, but that then leads obviously into everyday performance, how a team might want to behave together. So we do a lot of facilitated workshops around that and take people, and especially leadership teams, on a learning journey to enhance how they interact together, how they perform in whatever they want to do, and really move them towards higher performance. So that's it kind of in a nutshell. And then with all things emotional intelligence, we can certify professionals in measuring it. And then we do a lot of one-to-one coaching as well.
Okay, so for the idiot guide, me being the idiot, what is emotional intelligence? What is it to someone that has no idea, they've never heard of it?
Yeah.
What's it in a few sentences?
Well, I guess you can do a little play on the word. So it's intelligent with emotions.
Yeah.
The kind of short sentence view, I would say, is it's the skills that you need to navigate everyday life, understanding what those are and how to use them. So those skills are around self-awareness and perception, knowing me, strengths, how I show up.
Yeah.
And then self-expression in how I express to others, either in an assertive way or in a way that you might want to inspire or have some impact. And then you've got the interpersonal elements, which is all around how we relate to, connect with, and develop meaningful relationships with others. Then you've got decision making, which looks at how you use or how you factor in and work with emotions in that decision making process. And then the final area is stress management, which is basically how do we navigate life in a way that's, we can do it in a way that's successful, despite the challenges that we get thrown at.
Yeah, which we definitely have them in the flooring industry, well, any industry.
Yeah,
but,
totally. Yeah.
So the two bits of information I wanted to go through is the listeners to the show are either installers who are out on their own, who then grow their business. Some don't, but some grow and then grow into a team.
Yeah.
But they get no training whatsoever. They kind of start fitting carpets, flooring, things like that. And I'm not going to call freestyle it, but they freestyle the growth.
Of course.
And then the other guys that have been in the game a bit longer maybe, or that have joined bigger businesses or scaled quicker, have teams. So if we stick with the one man, one woman operators for the minute,
Yeah.
where would you start, or what can you give the flooring community on small operators, and why, and what can they do with emotional intelligence in smaller? I mean, a lot of things you said, like decision making and things like that, that always a great fit, but where would you start with if you had someone like that in front of you?
I think having been a solo business owner and then grown a team and worked with associates and that, I know what that feels like. I think the first thing I would say is that we're all on a learning journey. So have that recognition and mindset of growth, that actually, although I'm a successful, solopreneur or single business owner, there are more things that I can learn. And emotional intelligence is about everyday skill of navigating life. So what would that mean for that individual? It is certainly going to mean a lot around relationships. And there are a couple of elements I would kind of pull around that. One, you need to be good at generating long-lasting, repeat business type high trust relationships. And when you're skilled at that, which you often get with that kind of practice of whether you know what it's called or not, you've then got the overplay that actually if you're too kind to the customer base, you might give something away too easily, and that might cost your business. So there is balance in all of those aspects, really.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most underutilized skills when scaling a business is dealing with other people. So you might be an exceptional carpet fitter, but how you present yourself in front of another, even professional homeowner can be huge. Is there any tips and tricks you can give of like communication skills, using anything like that that someone, I'm not going to say that's unfair saying the lower down the food chain, someone that definitely probably wouldn't have looked into
Yeah.
that level of training ever. It
Yeah.
just wouldn't have even been in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to those people first?
Well, first of all, we're all developing our emotional intelligence, whether we know what it's called or not. So we don't need to necessarily know the whole thing, but I think if you've got the time and the want to invest in understanding it, there's a lot you can get, and they can connect with me on LinkedIn and ask questions and things like that, and I can point them towards resources that are free and available, TED Talks, video resources, podcasts, all those kind of things. On the scenario that you've described there, Tom, what I would suggest is one of the basic elements of building great relationships is conversation.
Yeah.
And humans love talking about themselves. So having that ability to ask questions and be interested in, which is the empathy bit,
Yeah.
that care and consideration, tell me about you, customer.
Yeah.
Tell me what's important for you in this piece of work that I'm doing. I know I've been asked to do something, but there might be something that's unique to them and what they're expecting of you that you're not aware of. And if you're aware of that, you can deliver that, and that makes that customer experience so much better.
No, but so be interested, not
Yeah.
interesting, is the
Yes. Like it.
yeah. And I think that's one thing when you're going to price jobs up, and or even in communication side, these people that run in and say, "I'm this, I'm that, we do this," why? And I'm like, you've not even asked who this person is and what's important.
Yeah.
Forget about who you are. If they ask you, respond,
Yeah.
but don't start telling people we do this. And in fact, they probably won't listen to this, so it's fine. I had a tradesman at my house last night, and I needed like a roof doing. This podcast will be full of this renovation I'm doing, and automatically he started telling me about all this stuff he's done,
Right.
and I'm like, "That's fine, great. I should hope you have, because you've been in the game a while."
And that's why you're there.
Yeah, and it's like, but he didn't say, well, what's that room going to be?
Yeah.
What type of ceiling do you want? There's all these things. And I said to my colleague who was at the house at the time, I said, he's trying to sell me his services before we've even spoke about what's needed. And we don't need, and he's not, and he wasn't a salesman. He was like, a contractor. So I think that's really good. So now we've got off the tools, we've scaled up a bit, and we're winging it with staff. So we've maybe took someone in the office, we maybe got someone out estimating. What's the next step to start? Because this was one of my biggest downfalls, was working on myself
Yeah.
to communicate with people as a team. I just made it up as I went along, and it was my way or the highway, and that was so much slower.
Yes.
The minute I started listening and understanding and training, running a team was easier than not pulling teeth.
Yeah.
So yeah, 5, 10, 20 people.
Yeah.
Is that where it comes into its own, or what? Where?
Yeah, well, absolutely, it can do. I mean, I think one thing to emphasize straight away, if you've got 5 people, that's a different managing or leadership element than if you've got 20 people. They're very different ends of the spectrum. So let's start with the 5. I think, like I said before, that learning element becomes then a learning leader. So looking at the skills that you feel you might need in order to lead a group of people. So that is almost certainly going to be relationship, like we've talked about. So how to build trust, but then communication, self-expression. And if that's an area that you've not practiced as a solo business owner, then having that practice of, okay, I'm going to have to communicate with my team, express a way of doing something or an expectation for us as an organization. I need to be able to do that in a way that not only has impact, but actually shifts people's mindset and behavior to actually do that. And if I lack that, then I'm going to have issues where they don't get it, they don't deliver the expectation, I get feedback from the client or a complaint, And now we're in that difficult position of, okay, how do I manage this? So that whole communication piece, I think, is really important, because developing someone requires us to be able to give great feedback, and that does take a bit of practice and a bit of emotional intelligence too.
So many people avoid that. I've got a lot of
Completely.
clients that they, oh, I don't want to say this, I don't, and then when it gets to the breaking point, and then they break, and
Yeah.
but that constructive feedback piece, that so many people don't do it.
Yeah. And it is
Uh,
a practice
yeah.
ground. Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't want to do it because it's difficult. But then once you've done it 15 times,
Yeah.
so that's a really good bit of advice. And then we move on to 20 people plus. Where's that?
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. So if you've got that learning leader element and you've worked with it from the 5 to the 10 to the 15 to the 20, you'll have those skills. You'll have developed those. So the next phase I would suggest would be that you begin to develop those people that are closest to you, that might be coordinators or supervisors that can help you leading that larger group, because to lead 20 on your own can be a real time demand.
It's a circus.
Yeah, a great way to
Yeah.
describe it. So having people that, they're practicing skills, so that can be part of their, role or company development, and people want that, and they're after that extra meaning, that extra opportunity to develop their skills. So I would suggest that, learning to coach people and develop them to get better themselves.
Yeah. So the managers that you sort of core 3 people or something
Yeah.
like that, and then bring it down from there. Love that.
Yeah.
Cool. So what does a Monday to Friday look like for Gary Hosey? What a normal week, or what's an exciting week?
An exciting week. I'll do a normal week, then I'll do an exciting week. How's about that, Tom? A normal week can be a lot of coaching, so we do a lot of one-to-one work, and that a lot of that is virtual. We've done virtual work probably since about 2015, so even pre-COVID, we were doing a lot of virtual coaching. We're currently working with organisations like the African Development Banking Group through a consultancy in Ireland that we have a relationship with. But we're also working in the Northeast with different organisations like Ward Hadaway, and also Pioneering Care Partnership in developing some of their kind of team and leadership elements. So workshops might be part of that. But a really exciting week would be doing something that kind of leans into that performance behaviour leadership bit, but takes it to an environment where we can have a lot of fun. We might have an adventure. So I ran a graduate development program for Banks Group back in November last year, and we were in Staithes on the northeast coast.
Okay. Yeah.
So just, real variety is the spice, isn't it?
I was smiling there, Gary, because you were saying exciting week. I'm thinking, please don't say an afternoon at Aston Martin with Tom Cockrell. And
Oh, that was
that
exciting. In fact, I seem to remember there was a point pulling away from a little lay-by where a little twitch occurred,
Yeah.
and you were like, "Careful." Do you remember?
Yeah. Both of us were a little bit. For the listeners, we got the opportunity to test drive
Yeah.
multiple Aston Martins, and me and Gary partnered up to test each one, and both of us claimed to be not the greatest passengers while at speed in 200,000 quid cars. But then ended up at the seaside. Everyone else, I think, went round the town, and then someone rang and said, "Oh, where's Gary and Tom?" And we were at the seaside taking photographs.
It was brilliant.
So yeah,
Totally.
that was exciting. So, what's the best bit of advice you've ever received, and can you remember who it was from?
I can actually, yeah. So a dear friend and ex-boss, Anthony, once shared with me this little proverb: as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And I think that's really relevant in today's environment, because often we shy away from a bit of friction and a bit of pressure. Iron sharpening iron is, making, something sharp on an anvil with a hammer. It takes a bit of activity.
Yeah.
And so sharpening people takes a bit of that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one that comes out.
Worst bit of advice? You don't have to say who's from.
No, I won't say who it's from, but probably Yeah, I think it's a brilliant idea that we take the bounce back loan in the middle of COVID.
That's it. That wasn't a good
No,
decision.
no, because we're only halfway through paying it off and we've got years to go.
It must be on still low interest.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, at the time, it it really helped. But now that we're 7 years on, it's like, oh, maybe we could have done it a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Best business decision you've ever made?
Oh, that one's easy. So I call it 5 years hard work, but I bought a VW Transporter through the business.
Okay.
Had it converted into a mobile office.
Oh, brilliant.
So when I'm working away, I can stay in it. I can do virtual coaching sessions in it as long as I've got 4G signal.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it means I can kind of be out in the countryside when the weather's nice, which is a total joy.
Mobile office. I love it.
Yeah.
Worst business decision you've ever made?
Oh, that one's
Apart from
easy
the
as
bounce
well.
back.
Yeah, no, I've got another one, which is taking on a photocopier, which at the time seemed like a brilliant idea, but a 5-year contract, and then at the end you had to buy it.
Oh. That's an expensive.
It was.
Have you still got it?
Yes.
Is it paid off now?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we paid for it.
I love that. 3 people you would like to have a pint with this evening in a pub, dead or alive.
Wow. Cool.
And why?
Yeah, that's a one to drop on someone without a lot of thought or preparation.
Freestyle it.
So goodness, there's any number, but I'm actually struggling to think of people off the top of my head.
We'll go easy decision first.
Okay.
3-car garage.
Yeah.
But you need to have a daily in there as well. You can't just go wild. So
Okay.
you need a daily.
Yeah.
But you can have 2 others. What's a 3-car garage look like?
Well, the daily's a van, so that's all.
Oh, we're keeping the transport.
Keeping the van. Yeah.
Right,
Might
okay.
upgrade it.
Okay.
The really nice one would be a Ford GT40.
Oh, nice.
Which has always been a kind of personal favourite of, just...
Are we talking the old one or the new one?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. I mean, if you're given the choice, I would definitely go the old one, but I expect it's a bit more temperamental than the new one.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to have something for a bit of fun, like... I'm not sure about the new Land Rover Defenders and Range Rovers. It might be a Jimny or something like that. Something that you could really have a bit of fun with off-road.
You could have one of those Defender Octas that are 630 horsepower. That'll go off-road, but really fast.
Yeah.
It'll be like a death trap.
There's something's definitely going wrong with that.
That'd be more than a Jimny, I think. I think you'd have more fun in that in an open.
Yeah.
So we're going an upgraded Transporter.
Yeah.
A GT40.
Yeah.
And something daft 4-wheel drive.
Probably a twisted Land Rover.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's it.
We've been there.
Yeah, so that could be one of those, the older ones with the newer engines in.
Yeah.
So there you go. They're about 120 grand. So
Yeah. So got to work a bit more. Yeah.
So what's next for you this year? What's the biggest focus? Have you made a big battle plan? Is it the same of what last year was, or what's up and coming?
We're actually developing our ability to do a podcast. So loving being on podcasts, and thought, right, let's give that a whirl.
From the van,
which is going to be a different take. And alongside that, our emotional intelligence work with certifying our own practitioners with measuring it with the psychometrics. We've certified over 200 individuals around the UK, Europe, and other parts of the world. And we're going to create an online community,
right? Okay, yeah.
Probably partly LinkedIn based and private community based, where they can get access to resources and support and supervision, so that they get better at practicing using the assessments and build their skills too.
Why would someone get certified?
So a lot of the organizations that we work with, to start with, we might coach some leaders, or we might do some team development or emotional intelligence work. They then reap the benefits of that and go, actually, we'd really like to be able to do that. So the psychometrics that we use, which we're not the publishers of them, we haven't, created them. It's a globally scientifically validated measure called the EQI 2.0. And we're a partner and distributor for the publishers who are based in Canada. And so we can certify professionals inside a company so that they can continue developing that internally, using it for recruitment, development, succession planning. And we do it a lot with coaches, consultants, and marketing people as well. We've had one or two that have made it part of their offering in developing the clients that they work with as well.
So what size flooring business would that, do you think that would be really valuable? Is it on size, or if you had a flooring person approach you,
Yeah.
what would be the ideal person in flooring? I know your flooring knowledge isn't huge, but
Yeah.
what would you expect the company be like?
Well, I think even as a single business owner, if you thought, you know what, I want to be the best version of me, I think emotional intelligence gives you a lot of bang for your buck. So you get a lot of development opportunity quite quickly because you get it wrapped up in that EQI assessment. I think if you're thinking larger, then probably 10 plus.
Okay.
And especially starting with, again, those top 2 or 3 people, because the better they work together and show up for not only the business, the customers, but also the team, the more successful they're going to be.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to the pub. This pub we're going
Oh,
to.
yeah. Let's go back there,
right.
definitely.
You can have anyone, dead or alive, Gary.
Yeah.
I'm not coming, but I know you'd love me to come. But
Yeah.
it could be anyone at all.
Yeah. So I think for me, I'd want a bit of diversity. So I'd want somebody
Not the band, Dave.
not the band diversity, but I'd probably want somebody interesting that I hold, as not as a role model, but who I find quite inspiring, and that's Mark Knopfler as a songwriter.
Okay.
I think the way he captures stories, especially Northeast.
Yeah.
It'd be so interesting to have a conversation with, especially over a pint. So I'd definitely have Mark Knopfler. I'd want somebody that I think has much sort of mystery about. So somebody like either Princess Diana or Marilyn Monroe, where you've got this public persona, but underneath that is probably a very intelligent, interesting person to have a conversation with. And the third one would probably be a best pal that had passed away, really. I'd bring them back.
Yeah.
Get them in the mix. And that would be a great evening in the pub.
Are we going to have Princess Di, or are we having Marilyn?
Oh, you're holding this up there. I
mean,
mean,
you've got to choose one.
Yeah.
Very different characters, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and different eras, really.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably go Princess Di because, I was around in that sort of 80s, 90s era. And obviously there was quite a journey that she went on publicly, which is, horrifying at times. But everyone who ever said what she was like to be with it, she was interesting, really intelligent, and just a really great person to be with. So I'll go Di.
I love that. One thing I've never asked you, Gary, we've known each other for a few years, but I get these out in the podcast now because you don't get it over a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Where did the emotional intelligence journey start? Obviously, I can't remember how long I've known you, maybe 5 years or so.
Yeah.
Where's Gary come from to now?
Yeah.
I should have maybe started with that.
That's okay.
But we know each other, so I've jumped in straight in the business now, but I'm actually interested to think, well, how do we get here? I'm going back to go forwards.
So I was part of an organisation that did experiential development. So we had a residential centre up in the hills, and we did team building, leadership development, and we used the outdoors as a learning activity and project-based experience. And
was that at the beginning? Was that
so that was sort of 90s?
Yeah,
going back there.
Yeah.
And then we ran that up until about 2000. Yeah, about 2003 we closed that. But in 2000, BT was a client of ours, British Telecom.
Yeah. And
they asked us to develop a program, a one-day introduction to emotional intelligence, which we did.
Right, yeah.
Which was around 99, 2000. And that kind of went okay. And I was like, you know what? I think we could do this so much better. And so I started to look at how you get good at it.
Yeah.
And that was the certification side of things. So I went to the company that I worked for and said, look, let's do it. And they said, yeah, let's. So they supported me. So that's a 25-year journey in that. But I've got to be truthful, Tom. I think when I got married, that kind of like
The next,
emotional intelligence, if you're not delving into that in that arena with, you know, family, children, you're missing something quite significant.
so the 25 years, was that as a employee or someone else's business, or was that your business? Like the bit in the, not the bit in the middle, but the,
Yeah.
yeah. So that,
it started, I was employed,
yeah.
left
Yeah.
that business in 2008, started my own business in 2009. So I've had 14, 15 years of the emotional intelligence company.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly what you've just said. We've talked about Colin the carpenter. We've talked about maybe Colin the commercial flooring guy.
Yeah.
How can emotional intelligence affect home life,
Yeah.
like other relationships, and what would be things to look out for? What, you know, what the personal development side, not business.
Yeah.
thing.
So maybe I should share a personal story with that, because
Yeah.
I think giving you something hypothetical is okay. But when I first started, I would say that I was quite dysfunctional in it. I wasn't very practiced in it, hadn't had much opportunity in my life to practice some of the skills like emotional expression. You know, I was good with relationships, but sometimes, you know, that didn't go as I hoped at times. And so I would describe back then my foot-shaped mouth was a size 11.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
you know, when you're newly married, you've got young kids, the stresses and demands of business, then going home into a stress environment, not that family is a stress environment, but there's lots of stresses in there.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You know, it's an amazing practice ground where I got a lot of stuff wrong and got stuff right. But having that awareness to practice it meant that I was actually able to develop a much more meaningful relationship with my kids. So when they hit the teenage years, although we didn't get everything right, I think we navigated them much better than if I hadn't had that.
Yeah.
So I still have a foot-shaped mouth, but it's maybe a size 4 now.
Yeah. So how does that impact that? You know, I struggle with my current teenager. I've got one. I've got a 9-year-old and a 15-year-old, and we are exactly the same.
Yeah,
We just want to know a fact,
Yeah.
yes or no.
yeah,
And so I'll give you an example, and you maybe coach me through it live on the podcast. So I'll say, "Do you want your tea?"
yeah,
I'll have already made it. He'll say, "What is it?" And I'll say, "It doesn't matter what it is.
it's
You-
ready.
It's ready." Well, what is it?
Yeah,
Don't worry about that. Are you hungry? Well, what is it?
yeah,
And we go around in this circle because I've just spent time making it
yeah,
and putting effort into it, and he just wants to know what it is. But I don't want to tell him what it is because he'll then go, "Well, I don't want that,"
yeah,
or something, and it ends up being a battle of like, well, we just want to know the fact.
yeah,
I want to know, do you want your tea, and he wants to know what it is.
yeah.
Neither of us want to do the same thing that
Exactly.
and I don't know. I don't even know how to control it myself, so apart from listening a bit more.
Yeah.
Trying to think of another thing that we both do.
Well, while you think of that, let me respond to
Let's
that.
go that one here.
Yeah. So I think sometimes when we've got that kind of conflict, you know, it's not a big conflict, but
No.
it's a difference of communication, isn't it? And what might be important to the individual. So what would be worth having a go with or a practice with is say, help me understand why you need to know what we've got to eat. I'm sure you're hungry, and you know the food that we make in this house is edible.
Yeah.
And nice. So help me understand why you need to know that, and just try and open it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And just test out those kind of questions and see what might be of interest for the teenager, which is probably going to be different to what you're thinking about why they want to know.
Yeah, it feels like an awkward question, that, but it, like, for both sides, for me to ask it, and he,
Try it.
yeah,
See
no,
what
it's
happens.
silly. Yeah, I think that's
It might
from,
feel awkward, but you might get
No,
an
but-
answer.
no, but that's, I mean, you get
Yeah.
the answer is going to get to
Yeah.
the source of the problem,
Yeah.
but he'll look at me going, "What?"
I know you probably will. You probably will to start with. But
Yeah.
that's where I think when you're working with emotional intelligence, you're looking to develop a relationship. You're looking to practice relationship communication, you've got to test and try different things and find out, oh, that didn't work. So what might be another way to approach it? Because really, if you're seeing differently, you want to try and understand, well, what are they expecting or wanting compared to where I'm at, and how do we make that work?
Yeah, I think it's quite right. Exactly. The 9-year-old like can get upset about something, and then I would say, well, what were you expecting?
Yeah,
Because he's not reacted. He's gone down, not up.
yeah, yeah,
In attitude, he'll just go, I'm a little bit sad about that.
yeah.
But what makes you sad about that? If he'd done the opposite and went, "Oof, Mach 5, I'm not doing it," then I go to Mach 10 and we're like,
I know.
so,
I've been there. I've definitely had those conversations.
yeah, so I'm trying to think what other questions there would be. What have you got any other responses? Even in business, again, I think that's really valuable because I love sales training and things like that. And it's like, a great question is like, what don't you want?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so you go around and see someone's flooring
yeah,
and say, right, tell me about the house, tell me about your lifestyle. What don't you want? And the
yeah,
client's like, what don't I want? Yeah, well, what
yeah,
don't you want? Well, I don't want brown.
yeah,
I don't want beige.
yeah,
Right, okay. Do you like grey? Yeah, I love grey. Right.
yeah,
Oh, brilliant. So you told me what you don't like, what you do like.
yeah,
Otherwise, someone goes, what you want is this. And it's like,
yeah,
no, it's not.
yeah.
Like,
So I think it's back to what you were sharing earlier, taking that time to try and find out. And it's finding out what are the ways that work. So another one that I think works a treat when we're less practiced at it, for example, with your younger one about talking about our feelings, that, because that feels a bit exposing, a bit vulnerable. It takes a little bit of practice. So I often ask people, so on a 1 to 10 scale, how do you feel about that? Like, well, I'm a 4. So, well, can you help me understand what that 4 feels like?
yeah,
And just kind of trying to open the conversation, because that's what we're trying to do, is stay connected, try and understand something. And the 1 to 10 scale makes it binary first, which often people are happier to engage with. And once they've done that bit, you're on the journey then.
yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose you could do that in the other way of like, oh, I'm an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Well, what needs to happen to get us to a 9? I do that in staff reviews. Someone will say, "Oh, work-life balance. Oh,
Yeah.
it's 7." Okay, well, from now for the next 3 months, what would take it to get it 8.5?
Yeah.
So we've got to score. So that works really well in staff reviews. That rather than saying, "You all right?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, what? Where's the fine line?
Yeah. And
Uh,
building on that, I love the question, what would good look like for you in 3 months?
yeah, yeah. No, I love that.
Or if you were going to develop something, what would be the thing that you would want to have some time with? And it might be different to what you expect, but actually you think, you know what, we can invest in that, even though it's a bit different to their normal job, because if they're interested in that, you're probably going to get a return on that.
I love that. I'm gonna have to think some more questions. Golden this, Gary. What else do I have conflict with my son? What else do I have conflict with him? Oh, there's loads. It's not bad. It's just we're both the same, which is bananas. Um,
I
I'm
think
just
I think it's hard as a parent sometimes to be a little bit independent of the parenting role. I think now that my children are adults, 22 and 25, I can sense in me when I'm feeling like my 5 is going to a 10, and I'm much more aware of that, and therefore I've got more ability to choose to not let it ramp up in my language
yeah,
or in the way I say something. So I might be purposefully calmer rather than saying, "Son, why are you doing that?"
yeah,
And be direct with it. Say, just taking a different angle on that. Um, and that independent bit is, how do I see it from their perspective? Because where they are is not where I am or where I've been.
yeah,
So like my daughter, lives on social media, but I didn't grow up with that.
no,
So I'm like, well, why is that? And I try and find out. I'm interested to understand, why is it so important, and what do you get from it?
yeah,
And it does generate some quite interesting
Another
conversations.
good question. Why is that important to you?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
rather than the other thing, which would be like, why are you bloody doing this? Like, it's not
Yeah.
down. Why is that important? And I think that's one thing I learned about someone else who did some training with staff in any capacity is like before you like not roast a member of staff, but let's say have a bit of conflict
Yeah.
is point the finger in
Mhm.
and say how could we have supported this better,
Yeah.
even if they're in the wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Completely.
and quite a lot of the time when you point the finger in rather than straight out,
Yeah.
you're like, did you do training on that? No. Did you give a clear description of what you wanted doing? No.
No. Yeah.
Is there a standard operating procedure? No.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, right. So we could have done this, and you've now done that. And a lot of the time, it diffuses it to say, look, you've dropped the ball, but we're going to take responsibility. Here's how we can support you. And that was a game changer for me because all I would do is have teams of fitters, and I'd just my finger would be like that.
Yeah.
This is how it needs to be done. This is what I told you to do.
And they don't listen.
And it's like, why don't you listen?
Yes.
Why is this broken?
Yeah.
Why is the van dirty? Why has it got no diesel in? Da, 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 da. And it's like the minute someone said, bring it back, what could you have done?
Yeah.
It's just like, and that would have probably been listened.
And that's joint. That's
Yeah.
like a trust relationship. I'm in this with you. I'm taking my responsibility. You've got your responsibility in that happens. But how do we do this together? So it's team.
Yeah.
And it's those kind of bits. And I think it is a total game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to do some training, guy. I think that's the problem with training. Is it should be like completely consistent, like a mentoring, like a coaching environment that's regular because everyone does these training courses and it's brilliant. And you come away with all these golden nuggets. You implement 2 or 3,
Yeah.
and the rest goes straight out the window.
Yeah.
It's like
I think every human faces that challenge. I know I do, even as a professional learner. You know, it's part of my role.
Yeah.
It's easy to collect knowledge, tips, hacks, do it this way. I mean, I don't know about you, but sometimes I email stuff that I want to, remind myself about. And then I look at it later. I'm like, oh, why did I email myself about that? Maybe it wasn't that important. But so the collecting bit isn't the hard bit. It's like you're saying, it's that implementation bit. So in a small practice or a small company, flooring company, you can buddy people up where they share what they've learned and then say, what are you going to take away? And then in a month, we'll get back together over a coffee. How did it go?
Yeah.
And so you can use support with others, I think is always a great way to do it.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing that's not done in the flooring industry is like team meetings, regular check-ins. People just expect, like, I was at work, people have 3 or 4 people in the shop. I said, well, when was the last time you all got together
Yeah.
and had a cup of tea and just discuss where we are and what we're doing? Well, we went out for Christmas do. I'm like, it's July.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and what did you do at your Christmas? Well, we got pissed up. Right, well, you didn't discuss any strategy. You didn't discuss any.
You're at the pub with the 3 best friends, aren't you?
So, and I think it's that communication, and that's what's the biggest. Well, that was my biggest downfall when I had to reach my big team. That the communication was just non-existent. Stroke understanding of communicate. Well, no, not the communication. The understanding of communication.
Yeah.
And I'm still not by any means brilliant. I'm a solid 6.5, but always looking to learn. I still need to think of another thing that my son conflicts with me.
Well, while you think of that, so if you can think of another conflict, I think that's a really valid point because, when you start a business and you're doing it and you're setting the standard and you're doing the quality, that's not so hard. You're a practice professional, you can deliver results. But when you start gathering people and when you hire somebody who is qualified or trained in something, you do expect that, but we often judge people on our standards. And I think that leans into a little bit with our conflict with our children, particularly. We're kind of like, I think this, why don't you think that? But we're missing the fact that, well, they've not had our journey. I might explain it to them, they still might not get it. So it's how do we get alongside them, like you said, when you started to take that responsibility and say, look, we're going to do this. What are you going to do to learn and grow? I think that's where it can really change.
Well, that probably gives me a good bit to go on. So obviously teenagers don't get out of bed or don't actively. And he does a lot of self-development and self-development. He goes to the gym, he looks after himself.
Yeah.
He's a semi-pro scooter rider. So there's a lot of accountability around that.
Yeah.
But the basic tasks of getting out of bed to an alarm clock,
Yeah.
but then actually having some proper breakfast, he will literally show up at the door like with 3 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Every day I say you need to have a reasonable breakfast, take a bit of space, get a proper wash.
Yeah.
And obviously by the time you've said it for the 64th time,
Gets a bit
it's a bit tiring.
Yeah.
So what would be a way of communicating with anyone that consistently keeps doing the same shit?
It's a brilliant scenario. I love it. Tom, thank you for laying that one down. So I'd go back to that bit of advice I was given, and that proverb that I shared. So as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. I am of the parenting sort of thinking and sort of club that says, you know what, let them fail. So there were times when our kids were in that zone and we wouldn't chase them up. They'd be late for school, they'd get a detention, and we would let them do that a few times until they realized, actually, this behavior is not helping me. And then we would want to then be there to say, look, I can help you in this, but you've got to kind of want that. So sometimes letting someone fail is a good learning.
Well, it's I certainly, well, yeah. Even the fact, I mean, I remember it being done to me, and it wasn't great. The other day, this was ridiculous. I don't know how we're going to get into steak ragu, but we're going down the steak ragu rabbit hole. I normally make pasta with steak ragu,
Okay.
like the tomato sauce.
Yeah.
And he came in and said, I don't want that. I said,
Yeah.
well, you always have it with pasta. Today I've made it with rice.
Yeah.
I just didn't want rice, and I've made it with brown rice, diet thing, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want that. Right, okay, you go without.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't have anything. I'm going to be starving. I went, no. And then it stormed off.
Yeah.
And then, so what I did was, because I had the rice and the ragu separate,
Yeah.
I thought, well, I'll have it for lunch tomorrow. So I then mixed the rice with the ragu and put it in the fridge. He came down at 10 o'clock, starving, said, right, I'll eat it. Right, okay. Put it in front of me, went, I don't want the rice mixed in, went back upstairs.
You can't win, can you?
I was like, wow.
You just can't win. Fantastic.
So the point is, so yeah, but how would you do that in a commercial environment? As in, you've got a member of staff that seems relatively intelligent, but keeps doing the same shit day in, day out, and you're like, they've got a good heart,
Yeah.
but they just keep doing it because obviously you can't.
Yeah.
In a business environment, you don't want to keep seeing it fail because it could cost you money.
Yeah.
So if they keep making careless mistakes,
Yeah.
how would you communicate that?
So I think first of all, you've got to decide as a business owner, do I think this person can learn? Because some people don't have ears to hear. They don't really learn. And as a business owner, you've got to decide and work out, is this person in that bracket? So let's say they show hope and they have got, not just some good intelligence, but they've got a desire to develop. The way that I would do it is firstly that they understand very clearly and specifically, this is the job that you do, these are the standards, and this is what it looks like. It should be short and specific, and they should know that clearly so that they could tell it back to you. So there's no question that they know what they've got to do. So that's one thing. The second thing then is that when they do something right, you give them great encouragement. Say, look, great work with that the other day. It helped bring a delight for that customer. We got some repeat business off that. So anything where you can give encouragement, affirmation, and basically a a bit of joy and sparkle in the day, look for those opportunities, and they're happening all around, even if they're small things. And then the third thing is what we would call a redirect. So they know what they've got to do. They're praised when they do a great job. The redirect is, it wasn't a great job. So let's sit down. Let's unpack that. You know, what was going on for you? Maybe something's going on at home. Their head wasn't in the game. Maybe they don't feel competent enough. So you unpack it with them because they know what they should be doing. They're praised to do great work. And when they don't, then that's that sort of redirect and that feedback.
And then also asking the bit I said about the how can we support
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
to because rather than you've done it again,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Trying to keep that finger curled in rather than pointing.
I've just answered my own question. I can't believe I've just done this, Gary. I've just answered my own question about this getting up in the morning thing.
Oh, awesome.
Asking my son,
Yeah.
what can I do to support you?
Why didn't we think of that? That's a game changer.
I was like, yeah, rather than me just saying, again, he's not out of bed. And it is because we just, both of us, just one black and white answers. Is he out of bed or is he not?
Yeah.
I don't care what,
Yeah.
yes or no.
Yeah.
Not one leg, and he's like, I was here on time. I'm like,
Yeah.
but.
So you'll be able to update that in another episode.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so I've answered my own question. And final thoughts. I'm going to stick with, where's the best place you've been in your van?
Oh, well, our eldest,
Worst.
yeah, our eldest Rebecca lives in Brighton.
Okay.
She did a master's down there. She's living down there, and Brighton is such a great city, vibrant, great energy. It's colourful, lovely places to eat, great pubs to be in. So yeah, I love Brighton.
Yeah.
Love Scotland as well. So yeah, I've been to the Highlands quite a few
We've
times.
done the NC 500.
I haven't done that yet,
Yeah.
but it's on the list. It's just
How far have you gone up to the top?
So we go up to Ballater, which is about 40 miles south of Aberdeen.
Okay. Yeah.
And then on D side, and I fish up there, and I take the van every year.
Yeah.
Worst place.
Yeah. Where's the worst place?
I don't tend to go to worst places because I know I'm like. I mean, I do find new places, and I'm like, oh, I'll maybe not go back there, but nothing really springs to mind. But I guess, I don't like places that are like just ran with people. Like Whitby wouldn't bless me.
No.
Staithes would bless me more. Yeah.
Do you do the pub? We're completely off flooring now, but I'm going for it. The pub stopover things where so
I have done, yeah.
Yeah, so people that don't know what that is you've got a map of all the pubs that will
Yeah.
accept you into their car park as long as you buy a pint.
Yeah.
And that, I found when I had a camper van, that gave like a little bit of a sense of security that you've got a couple of people, and you normally get reasonable food, and and there's nice places to sit outside, and it's free. Like you have to buy an alcoholic drink or some chips.
Yeah, and who doesn't want to do that when you're out, adventuring somewhere? The other one is a lot of council car parks will do an overnight charge, and it's often only £5 or £10 for a van to overnight charge. Obviously, you haven't got any amenities.
No.
But if you've got everything you need, then that works a treat as well.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, thank you so much for sharing emotional intelligence for the flooring community. So I like to bring things that are different, but I think they were very, very, very relevant. Thank you for your time, and thank you for coming on the podcast.
An absolute joy, Tom. And anytime you want me back, just give me a shout.
Thank you. Cheers. All right, Sean.